It's the Great Model Railway Challenge, and I'm with a massive tool.
You should try that on these nuts right here.
Oh, yeah, fits nicely.
Yeah, lots of drama coming your way because today it's the final.
What, already?
Yeah.
What a huge wrench.
Me.
Yes, it's the Great Model Railway Challenge Grand Final. From an initial lineup of 15 teams, only 4 now remain. Over 5 explosive heats and 2 sensational semis.
Have it.
We've witnessed ingenuity, genius, that's remarkable, and disaster. Now our teams face a monumental challenge, building a supersized layout.
Oh, my word, but fire on the track!
The winner will bag a coveted stand at the UK's most prestigious railway exhibition and have the honour of being crowned champions of the Great Model Railway Challenge. Four teams have steamed through the heats and sent their rivals to the end of the line in the semi-finals. They are serial overachievers, Team Grantham, expert engineers who achieved a couple of perfect scores in the previous rounds.
OK, guys, well, you know what it is. This is the final. I have every confidence in you.
That confidence is well-deserved. In the heats, Grantham's Alpine-themed layout proved a towering success.
Wow, really impressed.
And in the semis, they rewrote the modelling playbook, using trains as stagehands to create a King Arthur-themed layout that's destined to become the stuff of modelling legend. Hoping to knock Grantham off their perch are the winners of semi-final 2. Tech-savvy boundary pushers, who's counting rivets?
This is it, the grand final. I can't believe we've made it here. It's amazing. So we have to now keep up our game.
In the heats, they shook their opponents to the core with their journey to the centre of the Earth.
Oh, wow.
Their semi-final layout was another riveting effort, a dynamic, dino-tastic homage to the movie Jurassic Park.
This is our chance to showcase to the world a whole new style of modelling.
Generation-spanning family team, the Railmen of Kent, were narrowly defeated by the Rivets in their semi-final, but are determined to go one better this time.
We're in the final of the World Cup of Railway Modelling. That's what it feels like. And once you get to the final, there's only one thing you want to do, and that's win it.
Rather than use kits to create scenery, the Railmen scratch-built much of their heat-winning Best of British-themed layout. They took the same approach in the semis, where they magicked up a spellbinding Harry Potter tribute.
Have we got a good layout?
Yes.
We have. Are we going to win this?
We are.
We are? Yeah? Brilliant. Well, let's go for it.
Sci-fi and fantasy nuts, the Rail Riders, joined forces especially for this competition.
Well, here we are in the final. We've gone through the heats, we've beaten very good modellers, but now we're up against the creme de la creme.
In the first round, they brought the heat with laser-shooting Martian tripods on their War of the Worlds layout. Then in the semis came a spirited performance with their Halloween design, despite the team having their differences.
Your arms are below your head. That's why the branches were put below the face.
Yeah, but Les, it's an enchanted tree.
Yeah.
The biggest surprise is that we made it through. So we need to focus on the main build. Let's do this.
Let's do this.
For this, the ultimate test of their modelling skill, the teams will have 3 days to create layouts that amaze, confound and delight us, because the theme for the grand final is surprise, surprise.
Teams, we are writing history here today. It's the Great Model Railway Challenge Final.
You have the chance here to carve your faces into the Mount Rushmore of railway modelling, probably built of chicken wire.
Yeah, and static grass.
A little bit of static grass. It won't be easy, though, Tim, because we want you to build a brand new layout for the final to the theme of surprise, surprise.
I wasn't expecting that.
And that's not all, Tim, is it?
Not at all, because to get your place in the final, you guys have all had to make 2 layouts. I'm sorry to do this to you, but they're going to be used again And not only that, they have to work faultlessly connected with your new layout to make a run of 3 with a train to pass down across all 3 of them.
Wow, you've already given us some great sets. Now we want the threesome.
And as ever, your judges will be watching your every move, and your time starts now.
The teams will build their Tales of the Unexpected on identical baseboards. There's no pre-builds permitted, so they'll need to work fast if they're to deliver the calibre of layouts our judges are expecting. The normally unflappable Kathy Millett expects to be flapped by the finalists' creations.
It's the final, and we have 4 fantastic teams. I want to see something completely different in this final layout. The topic, surprise, surprise, I want to be surprised.
As for the normally ice-cool, calm and collected Steve Flint, he's positively boiling over with anticipation.
This is the final. They must not take their hand off the regulator, but power down the main line at full speed.
Hello again, Les.
Hi, James.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you very much.
And welcome to the final.
Yeah, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, indeed. Are you surprised to find yourself here?
It was a nice surprise to get through as a runner-up. Don't know how we're going to do this time, but, you know, it's a real privilege to be here.
Now, in terms of scores, you're actually the lowest scoring team of all the finalists. So, in a sense, you have a point to prove, or at least you have to maybe up your game a little bit. So, what have you got in store for us?
We're going to do our interpretation of Austin Powers' Dr. Evil's volcano lair.
Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery.
That's true, yes.
And his nemesis, Dr. Evil.
Yes.
In typically creative fashion, Rail Riders present a surprise-packed Austin Powers-inspired layout centred around his nemesis's volcano lair. Dr. Evil's face will leer from the rocks, whilst an enormous space rocket is prepared for launch by miniature animated vehicles operating on multiple levels. And circling in the volcano's basement, sharks with laser beams. Yeah, baby.
Quite a lot more animations than we've done before.
Was that a bit of an issue before, that there was a lack of animation?
Well, what struck me about your team was it was a bit disjointed. And really, what you need to be doing is working with each other in a much more coordinated fashion.
We are basically a group of strangers. We've all got our own individual sort of skills, and we're trying to bring them all together and to build something that's rather unique.
Wow, it sounds like this one's going to be the most entertaining yet.
The railmen of Kent's Grand Final Railway will carry a message as green as Greta Thunberg's house on St Patrick's Day.
Fred. Hello, mate. Sorry to disturb you. Hard at work as ever.
Yeah.
You guys absolutely and utterly have the skill to take this. But how are you going to demonstrate that on this particular layout with the theme surprise surprise?
Sure. So this one, little leap into the near future. It's called the High Speed Green Research Centre.
Playing to their strengths, the railmen's figure-of-8 layout will once again be largely scratch-built. Visitors to their Green Research Centre will ride an automated bus past a video screen beneath 2 huge, transparent domes. Before arriving at the station in time to watch a new loco being named and a star train arriving in a puff of smoke. Ta-da!
Are you nervous?
No, not at all. No,
really?
No. I'm confident that we've got a layout we can build and finish to the right standard that's going to win the competition.
Well, it sounds fantastic, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Very exciting.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. All the best. Thanks.
Hello again, Graham.
Hello, James.
You guys are the highest scoring team here. You've yet to drop a single point. Is this right, Steve?
I think that's correct,
For functionality on either of your layouts.
Right. Well, that's nice. That's been recognised.
So the final now, up against the best teams. How are you going to win it?
Well, the vision here is a typical British seaside fun fair.
Roll up, with a design featuring twin choreographed trains and a track plan inspired by roller coasters. Grantham are promising yet another hugely inventive layout. Moving fairground rides, a log flume and animated go-karts will keep the tiny weeny visitors to the fairground entertained, as will a magical disappearing ghost train. Scream if you want to go faster!
We've actually built a model of our model.
Right.
So what will happen is the trains will appear and then disappear and then reappear where you didn't expect them to.
This is known as the rabbit warren design to railway modellers, where trains disappear down tunnels and then reappear from another tunnel somewhere on the layout.
Are you worried that you might be this time finally overreaching yourselves a bit?
It's a worry. This is all or bust.
It's always a good idea for teams to get their track laid as soon as possible. But in this final, that task becomes even more critical. That's because on day 3, they must join their new layout end-to-end with the tracks they'd previously built in the heats and the semis. Any delays now could spell disaster later on.
Brilliant. You made the final, dude. This is it. How does it feel?
It feels amazing.
The theme for the final is surprise, surprise. What are you going to do here? The pressure is on.
So for here, we're taking inspiration from one of my favourite model railways, which is Miniature Wonderland of Hamburg, Germany.
OK, so you're doing miniature Wonderland. OK.
With a state-of-the-art layout featuring wireless technology, the rivets will continue to defy railway modelling convention. A miniature train, automated bus and animated aircraft will circle a mountain high above multiple train lines, while a pyrotechnic special effect ensures they finish this contest with a bang.
We're going to actually bring in some amazing pyrotechnics.
Proper pyrotechnics?
Actual fire.
On a layout?
On a layout. This is the reason I entered the competition, is to show the world my ability as an innovator in this hobby.
Great, I love it. We'll leave you to it, so get cracking and good luck.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Mid-morning on day 1, and Graham of Team Grantham is tackling the Herculean task of laying 100 feet of multi-tiered track on his Todd.
I plan to spend a day and a half just in laying the track, so there won't be a lot of scenery appearing. Some may think that's a daft decision, but we're quite confident with work we've done before that will work.
By contrast, the rivets have a team of engineers working on their track and are making faster progress.
3 of the rail riders have also been assigned to track laying.
Les, can you cut out your template so we can put it down?
But not everyone's hard work is being recognised.
As long as all the curves are right, and as long as the points work, and as long as me and Jenny get it done before the end of the day...
Excuse me?
Yes.
And me?
And Les, it should all come together. Oh, there's definitely tension, but that's because we're all fairly moderately intelligent human beings with opinions.
We're halfway through day 1 of the Great Model Railway Challenge Grand Final.
In the previous rounds, Captain Les of Team Rail Riders demonstrated his wacky creativity, and he'll be letting his imagination run wild again this time.
So I've got marigolds, lubrication, and plaster of Paris bandages so that we can model Dr. Evil's hand that's got his finger in his mouth that's on the side of the volcano. So I'll get most of the base of my hand and my wrist done first, then model the fingers so that the fingers and the thumb are bent in that position. Making the hand will take time out from the layout, but the other members of the team have got that well in hand, pardon the pun, and I will just concentrate on trying to get this done as quickly as possible.
While his captain has his hands full, back in the display room, teammate Simon has seized the reins of power.
In order to get the volcano on here, we need absolutely 100% to get that
I heard
working.
what you said last time,
okay.
and I'm onto it.
Right, I'm not having a go.
Right.
Brian, if you've got something to get on with that...
Have indeed.
Right, go and sort that and let Jen get on with it.
Did somebody vote him in charge today or something?
Counting rivets are planning to push boundaries in this final, but for now they've focused on the basics and are the first to run trains.
Fly, my pretty.
I can spot a bit of vintage model railwaying when I see it. How come this beautiful train is on this track here, Steve?
It's my first ever train, bought on the day I was born by my father, who I lost at a young age.
Sorry to hear that.
I've got good memories of him. So it reminds me of how much fun we used to have, getting the train set out, running it, and now here it is on a model railway.
You're a professional model railway maker. Do you think your dad, in a way, maybe without realising it, was the guy that set you on your path to be who you are now?
Absolutely. He sowed that seed with this very first engine, and it's become my day job, it's become my hobby, it's everything I do.
So for you to use that here on the Great Model Railway Challenge final, a place that he would be just so proud to see you at right now, what does that mean to you? He knows, yeah.
He knows, and it means the world to me. It's emotional.
I know what it means to you, sir. Steve, cheers for talking, mate.
No problem.
And I appreciate just how important that train is. So it's an honour for us to have the appearance of that thing here at the Great Model Railway Challenge. Thank you.
While James works on the Railman of Kent's figure-of-8-shaped track, his brother Nick's been engineering a magnetic road for their automated vehicles.
Fantastic. Oh, well done.
But there's a problem with his new ring road.
Does that happen on both sides? Nick's built the roadway, and there's a little clash with the structure we've built for the station. There's just a little complication. How we get the roadway, with its wire in it, which operates it, to cross the track.
Team Grantham's captain also has a headache as he attempts to lay 100-foot of rabbit warren track still on his Todd.
We've given ourselves 50% of the time to lay the track, the other 50% do the scenery. So ask me this time tomorrow where we're up to, and then we'll get a much better picture of whether we're behind or not.
No pre-built items are allowed in the grand final, so over in the design room, teams are working feverishly to get their scenery and animations completed on time.
Andrew from Team Grantham, who proved himself to be a master scratch builder in the earlier rounds, is turning out a carousel for their fairground layout.
Oh my word, you're more than halfway through it.
Yes, I've had it running around with all the horses going up and down.
How is that actually happening?
So, for each pair of horses, they're sitting on a cranked axle. There's a drive
So that's
wheel.
an axle that goes up and down?
That's right, yes.
Okay.
So it's got steps, a bit like bicycle pedals.
Okay.
So as that goes round, the horses go up and down.
So all of this has sprung to life in the last few hours, just from raw materials, essentially. It's an amazing gift, Andrew.
Yeah, I enjoy creating things, I enjoy making things work, and things like this bring your layouts to life.
Well, Andrew, I can't wait to see it on the layout, and whatever you're going to come up with next.
You'll have to wait and see.
Great Uncle Nick of the Railmen is a retired commercial artist. His superb scratch builds have been instrumental to his team's success, and once again, he's responsible for their layout's main structure.
We're building the domes. It'll take about a day and a half. There's pressure, obviously, because we're in the final. Simple as that.
Back in the display room, Nick's nephew Fred is wrestling with that rogue ring road.
Yeah, we'll create a level crossing and we'll run the wire through or under the track.
In previous rounds, the Railmen received top marks for functionality, but faced criticism for their unrealistic-looking landscapes. Fortunately, a simple solution is at hand.
So, Nick, this is a static grassing machine, electrostatically charging up these little teeny-weeny individual hairs of grass, and then they land on the baseboard and then stick in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why you've been nervous using these things, because it looks, if I don't mind saying it, looks pretty good.
Well, what I'm learning is you need a perfect blend of water and PVA and a very steady hand.
And also, I guess, having a super smooth surface like that. And I think we're done here. So, I'll just clean your neck off, sir. Whoop, that's you done. How's that for you, sir?
Yeah, no, that's really nice, thanks. Yeah, perfect.
Happy with that?
Thanks a lot.
OK. Another happy customer.
We're nearing the end of day one, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for the judges to award their provisional marks for creativity.
What an interesting first day to this final. And not surprising, we've got the 4 best teams of modellers in the land doing their business. Let's talk about creativity. What do you think about the level of imagination involved so far, Steve? What about with Rail Riders?
On this occasion, they've chosen a movie interpretation, which I don't think perhaps is stretching their creativity as far as it could do
My worry about Rail Riders is in the semi, they gave us a very creative layout, which then just didn't quite deliver. It fell down in execution. So as long as this one delivers the creativity it's promised, I'll be happy.
Kathy, what score would you be forecasting for them for creativity?
I'm going to forecast a 4.
What about you, Steve?
Unless they deliver something truly awesome with their animations, for me, it's going to be a 3.
Well, let's hope they do. Let's move on now to the Railmen of Kent. Now, these guys are some serious modellers. Are they demonstrating their skill creatively at this stage in the competition? Kathy?
They have given us 2 amazing creative layouts. Their secret weapon, Nick, has produced the most beautiful backdrops. I'm not sure those 2 domes are going to quite deliver that same impact. I'm going to give them a 3.
Do you think that these guys know precisely what they're doing and they're just going to give us a solid, wonderfully modelled layout?
Thumbs up for these guys for daring to do a traditional style layout in the final. I'll go for a 3 for creativity, but if they do pull something out of the hat, we'll certainly refine those figures.
Let's move on to Who's Counting Rivets. Now, these guys are making a scaled-down version of Miniature Wonderland, which is a German layout. It's based in Hamburg. It's respected as being probably the best bit of model railway making on the planet. Is it a mistake for these guys to be attempting that, Steve?
From an imagination point of view, they're really only copying what somebody else has already created.
So in creativity terms, you'd mark them down for that?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to have to go with a cautious 3.
I'm totally opposed to what Steve's saying. I don't think they're copying someone else. They've kind of said, who's the most technical and innovative layout out there? It's Miniature Wonderland. Let's use that as the container for us to put all of our ideas in.
Kathy, then, we've had a 3 from Steve. What do you say for creativity?
I'm going to go with a 4.
Well, let's talk about Grantham, then, who've yet to get a single score from either of you judges in either the heat or the semi-final, less than a 4.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Kathy?
We always struggle to judge creativity on the first day when there's that blank board. And let's face it, Grantham leave that board blank for quite a long time. So what have they given us? A little miniature model of what they're going to do. And to me, I can see exactly what they're planning. That has gone a huge way in helping my score. I'm going with the 5. I can't wait to see it all. It's going to be so exciting.
Steve, what are you going to give them?
I'm going to give them a very cautious 4.
It's a huge challenge for all 4 teams, particularly when you think we've still got to get their other 2 layouts they've previously made and join them together for that triple whammy of rail fun.
So, with the creativity scores in, Team Grantham's plan to build a surprise-packed fairground has given them a fair lead. But with another 50 feet of track still to lay, Captain Graham is a long way from his destination.
There is a lot of pressure on me to get this done, but this is what I'm good at.
Meanwhile, over at the Rail Riders, an impassioned Simon is getting a little bossy with his team boss.
I think that'll be fine.
No, I think it will be fine. It needs to be spot on.
I tried to get you out here, right, in the first place, to try and sort
But we've
it out.
got so much stuff to get on with, we don't need to have this conversation. If you want someone to actually take charge of this, I'm perfectly happy to jump in.
That's the point, is the fact that you've been
But I'm not trying
to.
to. No one's taking charge. At the end of the day, Brian, I'm trying to facilitate us getting on and building the model railway.
All right, mate, no worries.
I wouldn't say leading. I'm not leading the team. If that's how people want to see it, fine. I see myself as a bossy boots who has just stomped in with his size 9s and gone, oi, let's actually get this done. At the end of the day, I know that we're all still going to be friends at the end of this, and we're going to look back at what we've built and be really proud of it.
Day 2 of the final, and so far our surprise theme has given us a lot of laughs. The Rivets layout of a Hamburg layout is now sporting a giant mountain, sort of a hamburger hill, while by contrast the Rail Riders' evocation of Dr. Evil's volcano has them in a bit of a lava. Grantham's plans for a fun fair look so good it's almost unfair, while Railmen of Kent's tribute to High Speed 2 is currently looking really authentic, in that it probably won't be finished on time. What will today hold?
The Rail Railmen of Kent's HS2 layout is still a long way from being finished, but they have at least gone one better than the real thing and got trains to run along it.
Well done, mate, on getting it running. There's something so therapeutic about having a figure of 8. You can see the whole thing as well. It's great, isn't it?
I know. It's hypnotic, isn't it?
A little birdie tells me that you are our in-house Rod Stewart, right said Fred, or something like that.
Myself and a few colleagues from the rail industry formed a band a couple of years ago called Head Shunt.
In the world of railways, you guys are megastars then, right?
Well, we're ploughing a quiet furrow there, or a loud furrow, you might say.
And are you the front man?
I'm the lead singer.
So if we're rocking some status quo, you're Rick Parfiting it.
Yeah, we can do a bit of the old this, you know, yeah.
What hands you got?
Yeah, you can do a bit, you know, that.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, your kids must love you.
Oh, they think it's brilliant. Yeah, they're my biggest fans.
No signs of any embarrassment?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah, that's great. They love it. They love it. They're so proud of that.
The rivets are also rocking along. Their enormous mountain is nearing completion, but they're not ever resting on their laurels.
Yesterday we got off to a flying start. All of our track is in. Today we're going to keep that pressure on while we get our scenic started, and not only that, the tech that we need to get our really advanced animations up and running. I'm coming in today really confident. We're going to push ahead, and it's going to be amazing.
So this animation is essentially a merry-go-round. It's got a motor sticking up with a pole, and it just makes things go round and round. But it gives the illusion of things flying. So we're going to have a balloon one side, and then for a bit of fun, the Millennium Falcon the other side. Great, that's another animation going. I'll move on to the next one.
Yesterday's altercations led to bruised egos amongst the rail riders and delayed progress on their board.
When you put a group of people together who are really different, of course you're going to have tension occasionally. Of course you're going to have, you know, disagreement. Oh, I'm not sure about that. You know, we're human beings.
Today, with judges awarding their marks for build quality...
Yes, have you got a sec?
Yes. They need to bury the hatchet and set things straight.
The track has to be perfect. There's a couple of areas you need to look at again. Before you get all of this plastered in, I'd check that track.
I'll have a word with the track maintenance department. OK, thank you.
To mark the final, Tim and I have decided to give our fantastic contestants a special souvenir that they can cherish forever.
You just got to be still for 2 minutes.
OK. In what pose do you want me to do?
That's pretty good.
We've selflessly allowed ourselves to be immortalised using the latest in modelling technology, a system that can scan any object and reproduce it multiple times using a 3D printer.
Teams, we're going to be giving you 7mm representations of Tim and myself. Mine might be a bit smaller than that, actually. For you to use in your layouts. It's not going to win you any points, but I'm just saying it probably can't hurt to put us in a good position.
This is hurting now.
In the design room, Team Grantham are first to find a home for Mini Jimmy and Tiny Timmy.
What have you come up with, Peter?
Right, we've actually prepared these for you. And Tim?
That's not me.
I didn't know if I'd captured the colour of the hair quite.
Take that smile off your face, for God's sake. Come on, I'm not Philip Schofield. Not yet. No, have I got any grace?
You've got natural highlights.
OK, but we can all agree the face is... You've nailed it.
Oh, James, this is you.
Oh, no!
No! Yes, it's Harry Hill at the front. It's you.
That's brilliant, though, Peter. You've done those really, really well.
Back to the main event now, and in the display room, track and trains have been tested on the Railmen of Kent's board, and their enormous scratch-built structures are taking shape. It's a different story on Grantham's board, where track laying is still far from being finished. Uh-oh.
Whilst the judges may think there's no particular scenery in place at the moment and we might be falling behind, there's method in the madness. The team's all firing on 4 cylinders at the moment. They all know what they've got to do.
Graham's confidence may well turn out to be justified. His teammates are building large modular sections of scenery that will slot into place at the last minute and hopefully fill up that empty space.
I've basically got 6 hours to do this. I'm stressed. I had dark hair when I started this morning.
Over at Who's Counting Rivets, they're rolling out state-of-the-art modelling tech. Wireless lighting. I mean, come on, what even is that?
If you place it just there, you might see some interesting things happen.
Wow.
The magic of model making. Whoa. No one's home. Hello. No one's home. Hello. That's incredible.
There is a current in a coil which induces another current in a secondary coil, and that powers the LEDs. What we've got here in concept is the equivalent of a wireless phone charger.
That's brilliant, isn't it? Kathy, for model makers, how exciting is this development?
I want one. This is amazing.
Till now, Melanie has steered clear of these simmering tensions among the rail riders, focusing instead on creating the interior of Dr. Evil's volcano lair. But that's about to change.
Are you all right?
No. I tripped over Melanie's controls, which then ripped out a piece of track. I was so annoyed with myself for doing it.
Oh.
I'm sorry. It's been one of those days, hasn't it?
With tensions now mounting, like Mel's volcano, could the team's divisions be jeopardising their chances? Simon has an unexpected parallel.
Liam and Noel, Oasis. I don't think that the best teams are the ones which work together perfectly. The point is that it's that real creative flair that comes from being passionate about what you're doing. If you don't have that passion, if you don't have your fire in you, then why are you here?
It's the end of day 2 and time for Kathy and Steve to award their marks for build quality. Sadly, judgment has come too early for Team Grantham. A distinct lack of scenery on their layout means there's very little work for the judges to actually judge.
Day 2, and the heat is getting turned up on these teams, and one set of modellers is really beginning to feel it. Beginning with Grantham, who were, of course, the team who scored highest yesterday for creativity, but today...
They have least on their layout. Kathy, is that an impact?
Yes, they've so much track to lay. Even the foundations aren't down for some of their track. This is day 2. It's build quality day, and I can't judge what I can't see. So, based on that, I'm going to have to go with a 2.
Oh, really?
Steve, are you feeling the same sort of thing?
On target for a 3, but it could go up. But just suppose they run out of time. It could go down.
Well, that brings us on to the rail riders, where they've also got to build a few bridges after a pretty heated day on that team.
It's just a lack of coordination, which we were worried about right from the start. So for build quality, I'm afraid I'm going to mark them as low as 2.
Do you think the team's falling out is having an impact on their model making?
Definitely. At the moment, I'm going to give them an average score of 3.
Let's move on to the Railmen of Kent.
Their build quality is fantastic. It matches architectural quality standards.
Yesterday, you guys gave them fairly low marks for creativity, but are we going to see their build quality mark a lot higher? Steve?
I'm going to go for 4.
Kathy, how do you feel about that?
All their track work looks beautiful. It's got great curves. So I think they're definitely on target for a 4.
OK. Well, let's talk now about the riveters, because I know, Steve, you were a little bit underwhelmed yesterday by their decision to essentially rebuild a bit of another more famous layout.
I'm feeling much more positive. Certainly the build quality is improving as they're going on. Once again, some of the animations are a bit on the small side, but they've proved that they can make them work. So all in all, it's looking good.
How good, Steve, between 1 and 5?
With the bits I've seen today, I'm going to go for a 4.
So a 4 from Steve. Kathy, how do you feel about how they're doing? Build quality?
Well, I think their build quality is coming together really well. So I'm going to give them a 4.
Wow. So a pair of 4s for build quality for riveters. I guess it's all just going to come down to who does what in the final hours.
For now, a strong showing by the riveters and a low score for Grantham means it's all change on the scoreboard after the build quality round.
Rail riders are currently in 4th place, but could yet stage a comeback. They look to have made the piece.
Just not from there.
Just to make sure. So
OK, 2-6, lift.
And are now pulling together to complete Dr. Evil's lair on time.
Right, OK. I think we should get that stuck down.
Not my fingers.
Oh, why not? That's all right. It's a little milestone.
In previous rounds, Team Grantham pulled things together at the last minute to pull off very high scores. This time, they're going to be cutting it fine, even by their standards.
Graham, it's apparent that you haven't got all your track laid yet.
No.
Which means, therefore, you haven't tested your trains.
Correct.
Which means you're behind in terms of the schedule?
We are a little behind, yes.
When you say a little, can you quantify that?
Possibly up to half a day.
OK, this is a concern, isn't it?
Yes.
You've got the highest scoring team in this room. So you have the potential to get there and win this competition.
Yeah.
So for God's sake, pull your finger out and get it together, man.
Yep, we will do.
OK, good luck.
OK, thank you.
Day 3 of the final, and it's looking as hard to call as you when you're on the train and your phone's on silent. Riveters and railmen of Kent will be happiest with how Day 2 went, less so the rail riders, whose volcano is about the only thing that didn't blow its top on a tough day for inter-team tensions. And Grantham, who till now have been putting the P in professionalism, this time struggling to put the F in track down. But there's no F in. One thing's for sure, coming up, it's a huge day for everyone.
The layouts the teams built in the heats and semi-finals have been brought back into the display room ahead of the final reckoning.
It's the final day and we're looking at functionality. Not only have the teams got to get their new layout working perfectly, they've got to get the 2 previous ones functioning as well. And then they've got to join them up and run a train from one end to the other. That's a huge ask.
Setting the pace are the current leaders, Who's Counting Rivets.
This is it, final day. So much to do in such little time. We've got to bring our A game if we're going to pull this together.
With the bulk of their final layout completed, they're the first to join their boards together.
That's it. Yeah, board linked. Excellent.
The team's functionality score will depend on how well all 3 of their layouts perform. Spectacular animations are also a must, and the Riveters have one any budding railway modellers should not try at home.
Guys, what have I walked into here?
Well, the theme surprise, surprise, so we thought real fire would be a good idea. We're going to actually have fire effects on our layout with smoke and everything.
Is that flash paper?
Yes, flash paper.
I mean, this stuff is dangerous. So you're setting fire to your layout?
Yep.
Richard's on standby with the fire extinguisher here.
Right, we're ready?
Yep, OK.
Fire in the hole!
3, 2, 1.
Whoa! Hooray! Yeah. I love it. That's fantastic.
You asked for surprises. There's the surprise.
Great. Can't wait to see what the judges do. Keep that quiet until the moment, all right?
Will do.
Nice one.
The Rivets are setting this contest alight, and the Railmen of Kent are hot on their heels.
It's in. Unbelievable. Give yourself a round of applause. We made that hard work.
With that done, work can now continue on their Green Research Centre.
I'm just going to connect up the windmill if you want to stand back and admire. 3 is a magic number. We want to run a train over it, see if it works. Right, 153, James.
OK, try.
Hey. Cool. Back to work, 2 hours to go. Hey, no slacking.
Like the Rail Riders' Halloween-themed layout in the semis, this final has also been a bit of a nightmare.
We've got to put behind us all the issues, all the disagreements, and just kind of get stuff done today.
Work is progressing again on the Scenics with differences laid aside. There's no I in team, although there is a large one on their layout.
Matt, what have you made here?
On the side of our volcano, if you've ever seen Austin Powers, there is actually like a Mount Rushmore version of his head.
Of his head, that's right.
So we are recreating the head and we've animated the eyelid.
Can I have a look at how you've done this?
So it's a section of a ping-pong ball on a pivot with a little, basically, activator rod and a servo. You press the button.
Are you ready? Yes. That's brilliant. Teams, you have just 1 hour left of the Great Model Railway Challenge, not a second more.
On Team Grantham's board, the modular scenic sections are finally being laid down, but with so much still to do, their fairground layout is in danger of becoming a freak show.
Oh dear. Absolute race now just to get everything
at least with a covering on. It's not pretty, but it'll have to do.
They haven't connected their boards yet. They need to get a train to remember from one side to the other, and they can't because nothing's together. I just don't know if they're going to make it.
Meanwhile, over at the Railmen, their not-so-secret weapon, Great Uncle Nick, has hit the bullseye once again with his hand-painted backscene and scratch-built structures.
Wow, from whichever angle you look at these pair, Nick, they look fantastic. Where did you get your inspiration from?
Well, it came from the top of our bird cage.
Your bird cage?
Yep.
Well, bravo. They're great.
Bellissimo.
Yeah.
I'm pleased.
Yeah, they're cracking. Cracking pair.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. Even people who've never done scenery before are doing scenery. That looks a bit odd there, so maybe we can just fill that in.
Teams, you've got just 30 minutes left in this final.
Is it pulling or pushing? Go on, give it full power, James. Go on.
Right.
Do the shuffle.
Shuffle along.
Riveters, you're almost finished, so I think it might be time for a bit of cake.
Take it slow. And when I say slow, I mean like millimetres.
Would you like some cake, Steve? There's a knife. You'd just like to do a few slices?
How many millimetres?
2 millimetres. Stop.
Right, so you're doing that.
I've got it. That's how you cut a cake.
Well, it was a log, I suppose.
And we're on.
Attention teams, you have 10 minutes remaining.
With the rail riders, rivets and railmen's layouts now all connected, Team Grantham decide to cut their losses and join the party too, despite their final fairground layout being unfinished and untested.
And stop, that'll do nicely.
Les, we've got a section of backboard missing on the new one.
Give me a screw.
Pardon?
Oh, come on, Pete. Just, you know.
There's the LEDs.
You lift yours, end up, Pete.
Where's the statue?
This is our first attempt to drive from the semi-final layout to the heat layout. And hopefully that will go across that joint, disappear through there, and come out the tunnel. Yes!
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is it. Please step back from your layouts. The Great Model Railway Challenge final has finished. Give yourselves a well-deserved round of applause. Well done, teams. Well done.
Come here, everyone. Everyone, group hug, group hug.
This is a brilliant team. Whatever happens, this has been a fantastic experience.
I can't believe what we've achieved in these 3 days. Well done, lads. Yeah, it's amazing. He's being kidnapped.
That's not what we wanted, quite simply. We'll just have to hope the creativity and operation, you know, takes us through.
Well, we haven't tested the train all the way through. Hopefully it will run, but, you know, we've done as much as we can, so it's out of our hands now.
Friends, family and some familiar faces from the competition have turned out in force to witness the 4 finalist teams demonstrating their super layouts. Their crucial functionality scores will depend on how well all 3 of their layouts perform. A star train must run along their entire length and all animations need to work.
First to fire up their engines, forward-thinking modelling technologists, who's counting rivets. Their heat layout took us on a journey to the Earth's core. And in the semis, we went on an equally perilous journey of Jurassic Park. For the final, it's a high-tech tribute to Germany's miniature Wunderland, with the promise of pyrotechnics and state-of-the-art wireless technology.
Who's counting rivets?
Would anyone like to get this show on the road?
Yes.
Good luck, team.
Well, this is certainly tense as we wait to see the Class 24 emerge nervously from the tunnel.
Yeah, look at that.
And look there, the Earth's core lies at the bottom of that. I'll just mention, if I may, that the crane there doesn't seem to be actually doing any lifting, and neither does the coal hoist.
And all animation should be working through all three layouts, so that is a shame for these guys.
This is a crucial moment, Tim, because the Class 24 is making its way towards the bridge to the next layout.
Is it going to make it? Oh, dodgy connections, and here we go. It's almost across into Jurassic Park! Yes! It's made it.
Oh, my word! Already we've seen a goat lowered into a pit of raptors.
And look at that coming out. It is a carcass. That animation is working, which is
extraordinary. Are those Triceratops nodding away there in the field?
They are, that's right.
That's Triceratop marks there for that animation. Oh, Timmy's got blown off again, the security fence.
What's that behind? That is T-Rex. This is my favourite animation, T-Rex coming in to eat the wagon.
But now here comes another moment of danger because we're ready to make the leap across to the final layout. Can the Class 24 make it?
Oh, it's almost there. Come on, it's slowing down. It's almost onto miniature Wonderland. Come on, come on.
Yeah! Oh my word, but
Look
fire
at
on
that.
the track.
Setting fire to their layout.
That was lit, everybody. Wow. You mentioned a rock concert. I think it might be... Is it Jimmy Somerville?
It's you.
Oh, it is as well. Do you know what I'm really enjoying, by the way? The way that chuff-chuff train is actually chuff-chuffing real steam. While the Star Train pauses there, gives us a chance to really admire this magnificent mountain, which features 3 levels of animation, Tim.
Absolutely, and if you actually cast your eyes up to the top, you can see a hot air balloon there going around.
Very nice. And it's counterbalanced by the Millennium Falcon. And in the middle there, Tim, you see that incredibly clever bit of wireless lighting that's gone on with these station.
The wireless LEDs.
Lit up without any wiring at all through the magic of induction loops.
Yes.
It looks almost as though there's something going on inside it.
What is that?
It looks like miniature us's discussing miniature people making miniature layouts. Absolutely remarkable. The crucial thing is that the Star Train has made the journey all the way from the first layout to the very final one.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes Who's Counting Rivets' wonderful display. Give them a round of applause. Well done, guys.
Welcome back to the grand final of the Great Model Railway Challenge, where the last round of judging is already underway for the 4 remaining teams. Who's Counting Rivets can put their feet up for the time being. Their Star Train successfully traversed all 3 of their layouts, and the bulk of their animations function correctly.
Sci-fi fans, the Rail Riders, will start their campaign on their War of the Worlds layout. And follow that with their Spooky Kids bedroom they built in the semis. Last stop, their Austin Powers-inspired layout. While Dr. Evil's face leers from the side of his volcano, a space rocket will launch from the crater and sharks with laser beams will circle within. Groovy, baby.
It sounds like that layout is going to look like $1 million.
Right, Rail Riders, start your engines.
Oh, yeah, and there's the Class 20.
Look at that.
That's superb. And what a layout this was. A real treat to go back and look at this again, because such an atmospheric piece of modelling. The tripods there, hand-built, scratch-built by Melanie.
Absolutely.
You know?
So this is War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, and they've in fact had a few War of the Words this week, haven't they?
That's certainly true, but it's what they've been able to produce out of that fire and friction. Well, it's a fabulous layout, but much like H.G. Wells' Martian Overlords, this demonstration is a 3-legged affair, and now it's time for the train to make its leap across to the second layout. Will it make it?
Here we go.
Moment of tension here.
Hooray! And it's on to the second layout.
Now,
This was a real change in style from the Rail Riders. They take us now inside a child's bedroom at Halloween when a grumpy stump has erupted through the floor,
That's
Tim.
right, taking possession of all the toys and turning them evil.
Oh, my God.
Terrifying.
Halloween is the theme, Tim, and look, there's a ghost train.
Which doesn't appear to be moving, a shame.
Died. But now it's time for the third layout.
As it's approaching. Then it's made it! Yes!
Dr. Evil's volcano.
There it is.
Over the girder bridge.
Hang on. Oh, we have a derailing and a disconnection there from the... Oh, no, no.
Oh, my word, that is a pity. Well, perhaps, Tim, we can talk about one or two of the features of this remarkable-looking volcano. You mentioned Dr. Evil's face there with the winking eye.
Can we operate the winking eye? And there we have it. The winking is working. Yes, is it? Yes.
And now we're seeing inside the lair and all sorts of drama. There's a henchman's railway circuit. There's a large rocket. That Tupperware box, meanwhile, inside there are the sharks with laser beams.
Absolutely. Yes, lots happening inside that volcano.
Tim, is there something special still to come from this layout?
There is something very special that's going to come popping off the top of the mountain of the volcano.
Right. It's an evil mastermind's volcano. I want to see a rocket explode out of the top.
Yeah.
Do we want to see a rocket explode out of the top?
Hell yes! Let's have a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, look at that. You're not allowed to keep that. Give it back.
So I think that concludes our trip to Dr. Evil's volcano.
Give them a round of applause, guys. The Rail Riders. That was great fun, actually, wasn't it?
I really enjoyed it.
Engineering experts Team Grantham came to this final having not dropped a single mark for functionality along the way. Can they achieve perfection again with their immaculate depiction of the Swiss Alps? Their valiant portrayal of King Arthur's Round Table, and what could be the ride of our lives with the carousel, go-karts, log flume and disappearing ghost train of their Rabbit Warren fairground layout.
Right, it's D-Day for Team Grantham.
All right, then, off we go. Cast your eye, Tim, further up the slopes.
Look at that, the radio telescope, which has been scratch-built by Andrew out of pieces of track.
Absolutely remarkable. And there goes the rocket, ladies and gentlemen, a plume of smoke, and...
First, there it is. Yes, what a treat.
I think this train is ready to make its journey towards the second layout.
Here it approaches the joint now, and ladies and gentlemen, it's close, but it's nearly close. Yeah. It's there! Yes, congratulations.
Wow. Now, as you can see, this is Knights of the Roundabout Table, essentially a bit of medieval theatre in the round in which the stagehands are quite literally trains. And there's the White Knight.
Here he comes.
Oh, my
there he is. Here we go. Look at that, making his way round. And here comes the unloading.
He stops.
Oh, hang on.
The drawbridge goes down. He goes across. And comes into the middle of the suitcase.
Yes, that is brilliant. That is my favourite. Love that.
And now I think we're ready to bring the train onto the wonderful funfair layout. Its arrival heralded by the start of Andrew's incredible scratch-built carousel.
The lights are on now. And it's turning a round of applause. And the horses are actually going up and down in a vertical fashion, which is great.
But where's the train? Can the train join the fun? Here it comes.
Does it?
Ooh. We put the Star Train into a holding loop, which gives us a chance to experience some of the surprises and delights and animations they've prepared.
So here are the go-karts, and you can see they're going around pretty much flawlessly around that track here. Oh, collision on the go-karts already. One of the go-karts has come off the track.
Oh, and look, the miniature railway is underway.
Look at the swing boats moving. Perfect. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh, flashing lights there over to the side. That's the test your strength machine.
Yeah, who's that bloke bent over like that? Is that me?
Yeah, that is you. Unfortunately, you're just trying to pick up the mallet there. Struggling a little bit. And in the background, there goes a water slide.
There and it comes down perfectly.
Now, I'm ready to see the ghost train. My favourite bit of any fun fair.
There it is.
Oh, magic! It leapt up in the air. How is that possible?
That was brilliant. Oh, no. The train has come to a stop on the bridge, and it appears... Yeah, here comes the hand of God. It appears that, yes, we're having a little bit of a re-engagement of that back carriage.
Oh, hang on.
Now.
Here we go. Oh, and there goes the... there's two of them. And now, for the grand finale of the fun fair section, the two trains are merged together.
Synchronising with trains. Give them a hand of applause. They pulled it back on track. The last train of the final will depart from the scratch-built St Pancras station that so impressed the judges on the Railman of Kent's Best of British layout. It will then travel across the Harry Potter tribute they built in the semis, before busting onto their final layout, dominated by those enormous twin domes of their Eco-Research Centre.
Are we ready for the final demonstration of this great model railway challenge?
Hell yeah! Right, good luck, Fred.
OK, cue Pullman, Nick.
And there you can see appearing from behind the station there is the Western Pullman.
And not just any station, Tim, but a magnificent scratch-built St Pancras. Oh, and look, that's the fly-past. This was from their heat. The theme for the heat was Best of British.
And look at the speed. That tram is absolutely hammering it round that track. How is it staying on the track?
Now, this central park here is of Railmen of Kent's own invention. It's called Boadicea Park.
Yeah.
There's some glorious sculptures in there. There's a wonderful D&A revolving sculpture. Oh, but there, the Western Pullman is underway. And the big question now, can it make it?
And it's made it over! Yes! On to the next layout. Wow.
Now we're into the second layout they prepared. This was for the semi-final. The theme was blockbusters and the wizarding world of Harry Potter.
We've got a flying Ford Anglia. I believe there was some JK rolling stock on there as well.
Indeed. All sorts of delights there and a wonderful bit of layout building. And watching over it all, the statue there, which actually in real life occupies a place next to the Glenfinnan Viaduct, of Bonnie Prince Charlie, or as the Railmen of Kent would have it, the Anorak Prince. Well, we're ready to make the leap into the third layout. It's welcome to the pleasure domes as we enter the world, hopefully, of high-speed green.
So this is the most important one, to get the powered train over onto the next layout.
Those wind turbines are whirling magnificently as the train makes its way onto the board. Carriages snaking there under the bridge.
And it has made it across the line onto the final layout. Well done to the Railmen of Kent so far. The pressure is really on now.
Well, now, as the Star engine continues its breakneck journey around these layouts, it's going to make a little loop there of one of these magnificent domes. That's the visitor centre, Tim, and inside it, a massive video screen entertaining those lucky school children, by the looks of it, with pictures of trains.
What another wonderful piece of engineering by the Railmen of Kent.
That's the station you can see there with solar panels on the roof.
The smoke suggests the arrival of a snapshot of the future, the high-speed green train. Give them a round of applause. The high-speed green is on the track. Yes. Now.
High-speed green has stopped. I think it might be for a reason, Tim.
Oh, look at that there. Incoming swinging bottle of champagne. Yes. It's officially launched. The inauguration has happened.
It's quite an occasion, and I believe we're about to see an unveiling.
Ooh, what is that hiding inside that scrunched-up paper?
It's going green!
Oh, no, it's you with your static grass head.
So the train has successfully completed its journey across 3 boards. The animations worked. It's time for a round of applause.
Absolutely, for the Railmen of Kent. And that only means one thing now. Judging time.
Welcome back to the Great Model Railway Challenge for the last time this series. Our 4 teams of finalists all managed to run trains successfully along the full length of their grand final layouts. All they can do now is wait while the judges deliberate.
That really was the finale that this competition deserved.
We've had some of the best railway modellers in the country. Everyone in there has pulled together and wow.
All right, well, let's talk about those final demonstrations. And, of course, final day, it's all about functionality. Starting off with rail riders.
If you look at the team, they are a great set of artists. But the mechanics sometimes lets them down. You know, the build quality is perhaps not as good as it could be.
Right, let's move on now to their final layout, Dr. Evil.
Yeah. If you're an Austin Powers fan, this is the layout for you. It had all the cameos with the eye winking, the sharks with lasers. The only one nitpick I really have, their train derailed.
OK, shall we move on to Team Grantham?
Yeah, speaking of things not working.
As far as functionality is concerned, everything worked on boards number 1 and number 2. Bang, board number 3. The go-karts came off, hand of God, on the ghost train. But there were some positives, weren't there, Kathy?
I mean, that carousel that Andrew did, that is some of the most beautiful engineering we've ever seen.
They are a group of modellers to learn from, aren't they?
Absolutely.
The stuff that they built lasted.
Well, let's talk about Railmen of Kent.
If I look at functionality, the first layout, beautiful running track. Second layout, Harry Potter and Hogwarts. It was a joy to see it back running again. Third layout showed the Western Pullman off to its best because it was able to flow around those curves and look amazing.
All 3 of the layouts are a feast for the eyes, aren't they?
One thing I'll always say about the Railmen of Kent, their craftsmanship is exquisite.
Steve, how do you feel about how they did for functionality?
Fantastic that the high-speed green train got into the station where the bottle of champagne was flicked across and everybody cheered. And it's all scratch-built. It's very, very impressive.
Well, from a layout that looked like a Wonder Bra to one that looked wunderbar. The Hamburg-inspired miniature Wonderland from Riveters. Kathy, do you want to kick us off with your functionality thoughts for this?
They had so many miniature animations dotted through all of their layouts. I love that Jurassic Park. I love the T-Rex, the raptors in their little hole. By the time we got to that final layout, explosions. They wanted to surprise us, and they did.
Overall, that consistent standard and style throughout was really, really amazing. One final point I have about this team is that an awful lot of their models on display were either kit builds or straight out of the box. As a consequence, I'm going to go back and look at build quality and creativity scores again.
Well, that's a very good point, Stephen. You know what? It is a huge decision, this. So maybe before you reach your verdict, you and Kathy just have a final think about all of your scores for this last round.
With the margins so tight and with so much at stake, the judges are locked in talks for an unprecedented amount of time. But at last...
Teams, modellers, friends, you've worked your fingers to the bone. You've given yourselves sleepless nights. You've given us incredible modelling. Now, the thing is, you've been so good. The final is so tight.
And there are 2 teams standing in front of us here who are level pegging on the points.
Now, the rules are very clear on this. In the event of 2 teams being tied on points in the final, judges go back and look again at the scores on previous builds for those teams. So with that in mind, judges, do you have a decision?
We do.
So, the winner of this year's Great Model Railway Challenge is...
Railmen of Kent!
With the judges unable to separate the railmen and the rivets, their scores across the contest came into play, and the Kentishmen clinch it by a single point.
Railmen of Kent. This team have taken the hobby to new heights. They've given us stylistic, innovative, beautiful model making from beginning to end. Worthy winners.
Obviously feel really gutted, but the Railway of Kent did an amazing job and we can leave with our honour intact.
This is something I will treasure forever. It's given me and the family and boys something they can look back and say, well, I took part in that, I did it, and I won it, and what a brilliant feeling that was.
Railmen of Kent, they delivered consistent style and quality throughout every round. The trophy couldn't have gone to a better team. I tip my hat to every one of them.
From a muddy field to the UK's busiest airport, we delve into the history of Heathrow then and now at 7. Before we go on board one of the biggest and fastest ships ever built, the Queen Mary, Britain's first luxury liner, brand new at 8. Next, 5 News.